Everybody, welcome to another episode of Financial Investing Radio. So in this episode, I have the opportunity for a second interview with Jerremy Newsome. What's interesting about this with Jerremy is he's got this organization called Real Life Trading, and he's got this, I love his mantra. It's basically, they're there to enrich lives, and he gives away tons of free financial investing and trading courses. Just gives it away. He feels like this should be available to everybody. And he told me, and it wasn't part of the interview, afterwards we were talking about it, he told me about an upcoming deal he's got. I think it's on May 5th. If you go to reallifetrading.com/funding, what he's doing is he's giving you an opportunity to get $200,000 to invest. You got to prove yourself. You got to follow some rules. Otherwise, they'll fund your account. Kind of an interesting deal there. Today, though, in this conversation, Jerremy and I are talking about crypto trading, adding it to your portfolio.
Welcome to Click AI Radio, where you'll learn the secrets to transforming your small to medium business. Grant has been helping businesses transform using technology for over 30 years. Advanced technologies like artificial intelligence have been available only to large companies and advanced technical teams. Grant will discuss how you can use to leverage AI and other technologies to grow your small to medium business. As a gift, Grant is offering his ebook, AI for Sales Growth, at clickairadio.com. Now, here's your host and biz tech geek, Grant Larson.
Everybody, welcome to another episode of Financial Investing Radio. So I went and got on my knees and begged and pleaded to one more time get in the house, Mr. Jerremy Newsome. First of all, thank you, Jerremy, for taking the time to be here.
Man, my pleasure. You're so welcome, and I'm honored. This is my privilege as well. So thank you for having me.
So you and I spoke, I don't know, a few weeks ago. And since we spoke, I went and I checked more of his stuff out. You guys got to check his stuff out. I checked out his stuff and I went onto his site, reallifetrading.com. And he's got all this free content out there. It's incredible. I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars for that kind of training before. I was amazed that you had that out there. And I've knocked out your first 3 courses on it. And I have to tell you, first of all, you're an awesome educator. And second of all, you really know the markets and you teach them well. And third, I've been applying his techniques and it's made a direct impact on my trading activity. So, okay, there you go. That's my hero worship.
Hey, thanks, dude. It means a lot to me that you did that because you were a man of your word. You said you were going to, and you did it. That's phenomenal.
Yep, I sure did. Okay, so what happened then is after Jerremy and I talked last time, I said, gosh, that went really well. Are there other topics that you cover? And we were texting back and forth. He's like, crypto. I'm like, serious? Okay. And of course, that's before I'd gone through your training courses. Now I realize, oh yeah, you definitely are going to, knock it out of the park on crypto. So we wanted to discuss crypto in this world that has so much controversy around it. Some are like all in on it. Some think it's, the devil's mother. It's just got all sorts of different views on it. But bottom line, let's start with what's attracting people to crypto. What are your thoughts there?
It's a solid question, man. I think what attracts most people, and this is probably a slightly unfortunate answer, but that's okay, is just like explosive gains. Mm-hmm. I think that's what attracts people to it because they're like, well, this thing is brand new. They heard about Bitcoin. They probably saw it somewhere around $5,000 to $10,000 back in 2017. They saw it go up to 20,000 and now it's at, 34,000. And so they're doing the math, right? People are like, wow, there's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of returns to be made. And same thing with NFTs or same thing with just active crypto trading. Like there are ridiculous numbers and some huge success stories that have happened in crypto for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you think about how much money I have to have in order to trade, options or to be buying stocks or doing futures. They each have their own requirement. What does it mean for crypto? If you want to get into that world, what do you need to have in your bank?
So that's what's cool. That I think probably later down the line, but certainly an aspect that will attract people is you can get started with any amount of money. There's no regulation on how much money you have to have. So for example, as you mentioned, you have to have $25,000 to day trade, right? At least if it's in a margin account and if you're here in the US, but you have to have a certain amount of money to place a certain amount of trades in a certain period of time. Well, with crypto, you don't. Any amount of money, what, $100, doesn't matter. And what's incredible about that is you do have the opportunity, in my opinion, to then offer new insights to new individuals, right? Maybe they're children, young adults, maybe they're 14, 15. Kids can trade this stuff, right? You can you can create your own account, put $300-400 in there and let a child go wild and just see how they can trade, because there is no, if you don't use margin, which is pretty hard to do actually in crypto. So if you don't over leverage yourself, which again, is very difficult to do, the chances of you losing all of your investment are pretty small. And the chance of you losing more than you invested, if you don't use margins, pretty much zero, at least to my knowledge. I haven't heard of anyone doing that yet. Therefore, it allows really inexperienced individuals to get experience through the school of hard knocks. So, why not? But with any amount of money, man, that's incredible.
In fact, on that point, just real quick. So when we talk crypto, what are the main instruments that you're referring to?
Main instruments, I would say, like the decentralized peer-to-peer currency that most people probably heard about. Bitcoin, you have Ethereum. There's a very popular website called coinmarketcap.com. coinmarketcap.com, and any individual can go there. It's free, and they can kind of scroll through and determine and visually identify what are some of the larger coins, tokens, projects, what are people doing and how are they doing it. And it allows them to really just see what's out there, because from a market capitalization standpoint, so market capitalization meaning how big is this asset, I usually stay in the top 30. So if I'm trading something, if I'm putting my own currency into it, my Bitcoin or US dollars, whatever, if I'm buying a token or a project, I'm usually staying in the top 30 so that I can assure myself of liquidity, which means the ability to sell, right? So there's almost always a buyer on the other side of the screen.
In fact, I got involved real early on some of the Bitcoin stuff, but there wasn't as much liquidity back then, and that turned out to be good and bad, right? Those a lot of that's overcome, certainly, obviously, in the Bitcoin area. But that's great advice to stay on the top end of those. And as I've come to get to know you and your mission, which is to enrich lives, right? I love that about your mission, and the fact that you're taking crypto is a way to teach younger people about this, right? These are things that are not taught in school, right? How do you actually go about making money, right? And how do you go about building wealth and growing it? Those are critical lessons learned. And I know that you've done some, I haven't seen it, but I've heard that you've done some things around education for younger people on this. Can you talk about that? And have you done it in the crypto area as well?
I have. So I came up with a book not too long ago called a stock market journey, how to make sure kids win at life every day. And in that book, I actually kind of blend in the nuances of currency and talk about money as a fluid discussion, because I mean, it is, right? It's a universal language. It's something that it's borderless. Money is, and it changes from border to border oftentimes. But allowing kids to realize that this is like a video game. You have to learn it. You have to play it. You're going to lose. Just like in a video game, like you're not always going to pass the level or whatever. You might initially, but as it gets harder, you get to determine, do you increase your skills and your capabilities through that difficulty to come out on the other side proficient at this game? So my take is, I've created a live course that I did in March. So March is Kids Month every month at my company. So I did a live educational event for children. And after that, it was a week long. And at the end, I did offered a mentorship program for children and their parents to go through with one of my mentors so that they can learn together. It's kind of like like a spring break at night, learn and just understand more of it. Because my thought, honestly, Grant, is that going to change their life and are they going to become full-time stock traders? Probably not. But they will start to see the world differently and they'll believe different beliefs now because they will see that money can be created easily. It doesn't mean that you always have to choose that route, but it's at least a choice that is available to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love the fact that you're providing that for these people. You got an awesome mission. Okay, all right. Let me get back to successful crypto trader. What does that mean? How do you do that? Like, what does it mean to be successful in crypto?
Yeah, I mean, it's a valid question. I think success for me personally, I mean, I define the word success as the opportunity to recognize, or did I recognize an opportunity? Like, that's it. If I recognize an opportunity, I'm successful. I made it easy for myself to achieve success. But from a monetary standpoint, I mean, like if you're actively trading, if you're successful, you haven't blown out your account, right? You haven't lost tons and tons of money. You still have capital around, but you are able to increase your currency that you're trading with to better your life or the life of others around you. And that's essentially it, right? That's the, I would say an ulterior motive of success is for people to figure out a way to help others with their success. Either teach it, provide it, give it away, donate it, expand it, offer it, something. So if you're trading and you're able to carve out, I was telling someone the other day, if you made $600 extra, or you made a $600 profitable trade, so $600 US increase, and you did it 200 days a year, that's $120,000 extra. Like that's boom, that's the number. It's pretty significant. So 200 days out of the year. So we're not even talking, this is a 24/7, 365 job. It was like, no, 200. So you're doing this a third of the week. If you can sit in and look at a good trade every other 3 days, you find a good setup, make $600, like $120,000 extra a year. That's magnificent.
That's
and
life
people
changing.
do have, it's life changing, and people do have the opportunity, Grant, all over the world to participate in crypto. Because you can do it with the euro, you can do it with the Japanese yen, the Australian dollar, the British pound. Any type of currency can be transacted and used through crypto. So it's a really fantastic tool.
Do you have a favorite that you typically pursue or trade?
I do, yeah. So one of my favorites, it is Ethereum. Ethereum is one of my favorite cryptos for sure. But also there's another one that's a little bit less known called Cosmos, which is Atom. And so Atom, ATOM is how it's spelled. Atom pays a 5% yield to kind of like, it's it through Coinbase. So Coinbase is a publicly traded, FDIC insured company at this point. And Coinbase allows traders to have a position in Atom and just receive 5%, just like it would in a bank. Well, used to. Right, where you can just kind of leave your money in a bank and just get like a free 5% return on your interest or a CD or whatever. Pretty fantastic. And that's because it's a very volatile asset class. It moves up and down a lot. And so when you're leaving your money on the exchange or the broker is able to go back on their side and trade and transact with it, just like a bank will take your money and trade and transact with it. It's really, really cool.
With the 5%, really?
Yeah, 5%.
That's amazing. Yep. Really? Yeah. Okay. There you go. So now you can take all your money out of your CDs where you're getting 0.002%, right? Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Absolutely. That is, crazy, that's amazing, man. So in terms of crypto platforms, crypto trading platforms, do you have, I mean, you mentioned using Coinbase, or what are you using?
Yep. So I can definitely give you a few. Coinbase is absolutely usable. It's really easy, super effective. I like it. A lot of traders like it. A lot of individuals use it, but it is more of a, what I would refer to as kind of like a longer term for crypto. You don't want to actively trade it. The fees are a little bit higher. It's a little more clunky. Clunky in the sense of it doesn't have a lot of advanced features to use. So I do use additional advanced features and other cryptos trading platforms. One's called Coinbase Pro. So it's their upgraded version of their main platform. So you can actively trade, you can set limits, you can set stops, you can do all the advanced features that you want. And then if you want to level up from Coinbase Pro, there's a platform called Kraken, Kraken. And all of these exchanges are very easy to transfer their money back and forth. Kraken is working on an IPO right now, which is they're going to come out in the market hopefully in the next few months. So you have a lot of opportunities to anyone, right? This is here in the US. I mean, you can open up an account, fund an account in like 4 minutes if you're bad with technology, 3 minutes if you're fast. It's really easy to use. It's super easy. You can download it on the App Store. You can use it on an iPhone. I mean, it's available everywhere now.
That's awesome. What a great, I'll check out Kraken. I've used the Coinbase stuff, but it wasn't the Pro. And yeah, sure. I came back going, oh, clunky, slow. And I couldn't control my trades very much. And I was like, this isn't yeah.
But it's good for longer term. Like you said, the CD thing, that's kind of why I tell people, it's like, hey, just essentially treat it like a CD, you know, look at it, play with it. It's like, have a long-term, just you're buying slowly over time, right? You buy and it just sits there. You treat it like a savings account. Just keep buying. Don't touch it. Don't do anything weird with it. Just slowly buy over time. Let it accumulate. Treat it just like a savings account. Have money come out of your bank into Coinbase. Great way to use it. Put it into Atom, get a 5% yield. Good times.
Awesome strategy. Talking about strategies, and of course, your training material, you do awesome talking about different trading strategies. Do the typical sort of S&P 500 trading strategies that lots of people talk about, do they apply in the crypto world?
Great question. Not fully. I mean, depends on which ones obviously you're talking about, but so crypto doesn't have very fluid option trading right now. So options are essentially insurance contracts, right? What protect your downside and help you leverage your upside, things of that nature. They are offered, but it's really more for international individuals right now. So the US is getting on board eventually with that process. However, long-term strategies like buy the dip, buy long-term, like take some money and accumulate over every few months. Absolutely. That works. Like the longer term strategies that can definitely be effective and certainly be useful. To think about some other ones. Just trying to think of other like really aggressive strategies. I mean, I personally don't trade cryptos on a small term time frame. So when I say small term, I mean like on a 15-minute chart or less. So I don't day trade cryptos. And here's why. Cryptos can very easily move 10% a day. Like that's simple for a cryptocurrency to do, which is wild. But as I mentioned earlier, that's why people are interested in them. I don't go less than 15-minute chart because I don't want to capture a 1% gain or 1% return on something that could move 20%, 10%. On Tesla or advanced micro devices or Apple, I'll trade those on a daily basis, but they're not going to move 10% a day, 99.999% of the time. So I'm looking for 1 to 2%, pull it out the market, right? Capture that cash flow. But on cryptos, I am more of a, what's called a swing trader. So I'm usually in for 3 to 6 weeks is like kind of like my preferred time frame.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Okay. So what about alignment with the S&P? Do you see anything there happening between crypto and S&P alignment?
Oh, that's a good question, man. Yes, I kind of do actually. I've been noticing, or at least it seems to me, that crypto is actually kind of leading the stock market a little bit. And the stock market, as of right now, has been a little bit of a laggard or a little bit of a weaker position. Not overall, but in general or specifically. So to come up with an example, Ethereum and Bitcoin, they're down about 40%. PayPal's down 70. Square's down 65. Facebook is down 45, right? Netflix is down 75%. Boston Beer Company's down 80%. You have some companies that are down 85%, like Roku. I mean, some individual companies' names are getting absolutely decimated. But Bitcoin and Ethereum are only down 30%. It's like, well, relatively speaking, that's not terrible. And that's actually started before, that was in like early November. And most of the stocks the bigger names, at least big broader market, S&P, NASDAQ, they started selling off late November. So I kind of see cryptos as almost a leading approach. Like if I see strength in crypto, I'll eventually assume that there's gonna be strength in the stock market. Sometimes it's the same day. And I think that's because people are going to, again, slowly peel some money into crypto. The total market cap of cryptocurrencies on a, like, again, a cumulative basis right now is almost 2 trillion.
Is it 2 trillion now? Really? Well,
2 trillion. Yeah. But that's not a lot, right? That's the market cap of Apple.
Apple, yeah.
But that's one Google. That's one Apple. Like that's nothing essentially.
Yeah.
So if you take, I think there was a stat that said the overall retirement savings in all of the US, like if you take the US, you take every single dollar that's in retirement accounts right now and average them together, it's like 36 trillion, which is a lot.
Mm.
If we take 10% of that, 3.6 trillion, and put it into the crypto markets, I mean, crypto markets triple essentially overnight. So that's the grandeur, larger term. Like if any actual sizable money starts flooding into these cryptos, they likely will go a little bit higher. And so that's why I kind of think that the crypto market almost right now leads the stock market in a way. Just
That's amazing. And the fact that it hasn't pulled back on such high weakness. I was reviewing some of the various stocks just last night that you were mentioning, and I was looking on the monthly charts, the massive pullbacks, and I started thinking, this is starting to feel like buy time. When it's down this far back, you're like, wait a minute, this is probably done. What's your take on that?
You're not wrong, man. You're not wrong. I do. I think the way there's a very popular term. I don't try to catch a falling knife, but my definition of a falling knife generally is if you are trying to catch it, right? Don't try to catch it with both hands. So keep one of your hands alive. So throw a little bit of money at it. Don't get super aggressive. Take a little sizable chunk. So let's say you have $100,000 portfolio and you want to put some money into Netflix. Throw $5,000 at it over a week or over a month. Like don't take $5,000 and go, okay, boom, and go buy Netflix. Spread it out because right now commissions are free. Generally, in 98% of trading platforms, like your commissions are free. So you can buy and sell, buy $500 on Monday, buy $700 next Tuesday, buy $800 the third Thursday of next month, and slowly tiptoe into some of these positions. So it kind of allows you to A, lower your cost basis a little bit, but really, and also B, it allows you to kind of understand and see and accumulate without being fearful and upset and scared, because most people, they're used to buying something. And once they buy it, that's the bottom, right? That's the lowest price ever. So if you buy a candy bar, it's like, you're not really worried about the candy bar. You buy a house, it's like very, very frequently house price goes up. Or if you buy a car, they feel like the price isn't going down because they don't notice it. But if you buy a stock, you're not going to get in at the low. Like it's going to go lower than wherever you bought it always. 99.9999% of the time. You're never going to press the button and you're the bottom.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
It's so tough to find the low. I love that counsel to spread it out, distribute the risk, try to get control of the cost basis or lower it as much as you can. That makes a ton of sense. Okay. So final comments on crypto for helping someone to get started. Any thoughts on that?
To get started, so I do offer education on crypto. I know right before we talked on the webinar, you mentioned you might dive into that program as well. It is a valuable program. It is extremely useful. I teach people a little bit about what I look for when I'm trading, crypto, and like what patterns I'm looking for and how I get in and how I pyramid into a position. But the good news is, I mean, go to YouTube University, right? Which is just youtube.com. And any question that you have, type in a how to, and then how to trade Bitcoin, how to trade anything, you will find so much information because education should be free, right? The information I give away in crypto isn't necessarily education. It's more like how I do it and my perspective and my opinions, which are valuable because I do quite well in crypto trading. And so I want people to kind of understand and see the way that someone can approach it. So for me, just go study, like spend 10 hours over the next year, hour a month, learning a little bit more about it because it's knowledge, right? Applied knowledge is power. If you just sit there and say, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I'm not smart enough, you were leaving a lot of gains, both monetary, financial, emotional, on the table. And that's not what you want.
Yeah, I love that guidance, because one of the things that you've pointed out, some of your trading or your trading training that I went through. And by the way, have I mentioned everyone yet? It's got good material. If not, I'll just say it one more time. It's worth your time to study, because the approach is very balanced. It's, get some into some long term, and here's an approach on how you do some long-term investing. And then maybe there's some medium-term stuff. And then, okay, you're going to go after some cash flow stuff, which is where I do some of my day trading activities there. I think you have a great balance on that, Jerremy. And I think my audience will benefit from that as well. So it would be reallifetrading.com. And then on there's going to be some links. What links will they follow to get to the crypto stuff?
Yeah. So just go through all the education. If you click on trading, and you'll see courses, just click on courses and start going through all the courses. There's tons of them out there. There's a lot available. One of my favorite ones, which you'll like a lot, Grant, as you get to it, is hedging with options. So the hedging with options program is just about how to essentially create cash flow from stocks using options, and how to protect yourself on the downside, especially if you want to be in a company long term. But yeah, the crypto program, just under courses, check it out. It's very valuable. It's extremely useful, and you will get really great insight, just not only on the future and what applications and what systems can be disrupted, right, with blockchain technology, but also how you can take advantage of it, how any individual here can take advantage of it without being a coder or a weird nerd or a programmer. If that's one of your fears, you don't have to know any of that to take advantage of this market or to just be in the space. Just like you, man, just like me. We have to study. We're dumb. Put yourself in front of an educational platform, videos, books, YouTube, podcasts, whatever it is, and study. Spend a little bit of time, take that applied knowledge, because at this point, my friends, as we go forward, if you have internet, you have income. You have access to income, and that is a global endeavor that can change the world for the better.
That's a great statement. If you have the internet, you have income. Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to put that on a plaque. Okay.
Let's do it, baby. Let's do it.
Jerremy, thank you so much for joining me here today. I appreciate that. I know you made some adjustments to your schedule to make this possible, so thanks for doing that. Any last comments before we wrap?
The best one is, it's never the perfect time to start anything. I think a lot of us, and I'm 100% guilty of this, everyone is, and I'm sure should be, but there's never a time where you're like, all right, March 15th of 2027, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to take 4 hours, I'm going to learn this stuff. 5 years from now, when I'm a little bit more wealthy, when I'm a little bit richer, when whatever is happening, there's never a perfect time. It's going to be a little bit painful. It's going to be a little bit scary. It's essentially irrelevant of what it is that you're doing or why you're doing it or how you're doing it. What I can say is this: if you start something, consistency is what pays off. Consistent and intentional wins the race. And if you stay consistent, if you stay intentional, if you really focus on your personal growth and your personal mental prosperity, absolute game changing, life will become incredible.
I love that. Thanks for taking the time to go over that, and for joining us here today on Financial Investing Radio. Thanks again for joining. And until next time, everyone, go get some crypto from Jerremy Newsome.
Thank you for joining Grant on Click AI Radio. Don't forget to subscribe and leave feedback. And remember to download your free ebook. Visit clickairadio.com now.